Hello and welcome to This Old Arcade. I'm Tim. Today I've got kind of a fun little project we're going to do. I've got two Cruis'n USA sit-downs in the shop where I'm retrofitting them with flat screens. We wanted to link the two of them together, and neither of them had the software to be able to link together. So I found one Cruis'n USA board with the chip upgrade for the link, and I've got that board right here, and it's these four chips here, U10, 11, 12, and 13. And what I'm going to do is use a EEPROM programmer to copy these chips and to duplicate them for our other board. So I'm going to show you that in this episode, and then later I'll probably show you getting the parallel cable to link the two cabinets together. So this is my source board, and this here is the board that those chips are going on. You might notice that these don't have the labels on top protecting the chip inside the EEPROM. We're going to make sure to cover those up when we're done. Just as a side note, I've left one of these EEPROMs out in the bright sunlight for 5 days in a row, and it didn't corrupt the chip at all. I don't know how long it takes for the UV light from the sun to do it, but I imagine it takes a while. Now, compared to that, I've got this old, says data erase, EEPROM eraser. I've had this since the 80s, back when we were doing speed-up chips for Ms. Pac-Mans. There's a little UV light inside, and I've already pulled one of the EEPROMs off of our destination board. It just slides in, and the light, it gets really hot. The light gets exposed on the surface there, and it erases everything. According to my program, it changes everything to FFs. This particular eraser takes about an hour to an hour and a half to fully erase one of these chips. Well, we're going to check this chip out here now. I'm using this Mini Pro. It's the, which is this here? It's the 866. That's the TL866. This is available all over the internet. I think we got this off of eBay for about 55 bucks. It's USB. Just feed it into the plug it into your laptop or PC, and download the software off the internet. It was a little difficult for me to find the software, but once I found it, it's easy to power up and use. So I've got my notch here. The notch goes toward the little tensioner there that grabs the pins and holds the chip into the socket. Then I'm going to pop up here. This has got a little deal here. It says read ID. It gives me a little chip ID here. This here checks to see if it's erased. It pops up with this screen here, and then it'll read through all the addresses on the chip. And it looks like this says it's good, it's erased. I can also go through here and read the chip, and it'll tell me what's actually on the chip. So let's see here. Okay. Now, I scroll through this screen here, it gives me all the memory locations on that chip, and it's all FF all the way. I've already pre-selected the EEPROM type here. There's a select IC option here. It's a Texas Instrument chip. It's a 27C040. So that one's good. I'm going to go through here. And we're going to do U13 first. I'm going to pop off U13 off of my source board here. We're going to read that data into the program and then copy it back to our blank chip. Okay, so I've got my U13 here. I'm going to insert the chip with the notch up. There's a little impression here too that shows where the notch should go. So put the tension on there. And then we're going to read the chip. It gives us a little status bar. And you'll see it doesn't come back with all F's. Yeah, see it's different codes. Then it gives this is hexadecimal, this is ASCII over here. Browse through that. And then here's the address on the chip. I'm going to go ahead and save this and then repeat this for all 4 chips so I have a ROM image for each of these in case I want to do another chipset at some point. So we'll go to File, we're going to do Save, and then we're going to do U13. And then it says it's saved, and we're good. I'll reinsert this into our Cruis'n board, making sure our notch is the correct direction. If you plug them in backwards, they get really hot and tend to destroy the chip. All right. So, I've got my blank destination chip here. Neat thing about this is you don't really need to know how it works. You just tell it what to do, it does a good job, and it works for you. You re-verify that that's blank. And then we'll hit the program button. Okay, that looks good. Then there's a big red P right here. It says Programming Chip. And there's a button here, it just says Program. And then we're programming. For this size chip, it only takes, probably less than a couple of minutes to program. When it's finished, it does a checksum, or actually I think it reads through the whole program and double checks to make sure everything's correct. I did practice on one chip earlier that erased, but during the programming it would always fail toward the end. There's an address that wouldn't take the programming. And I erased it a couple of times and tried to reprogramming it, failed every time. So that does happen more often than not on some of these old EEPROMs. I had also gone through with a pencil eraser, and on my my source chips, the pins were a little bit oxidized, so I used a pencil eraser to clean up the pins so it would read better. Anytime you have resistance on those pins, it affects the voltage level of the data flowing out in and out of the chip. Looks like we're almost done here. We're right at the end. Okay, it's doing its verified code memory. And then it says programming successful. So that's it for today. We'll put this in, we'll do the other three, and then you can join me again in the shop when I actually test it out and we hook the link together. So thanks for joining us here at this old arcade. I think it's lunchtime. All right, welcome back here. We've got our boards reinstalled. We've got our source board here, and then the board that we put the reprogrammed EEPROMs in. Stopped by a thrift store, and for $2 got this parallel cable. It's an extender that's male to male, and to physically link these together, all you have to do is plug this in back here. It's a D connector, so it can only go in one way. And then you've got to set your dip switch settings. You have to turn the link on both cabinets, and set one as master, which I've got, this is the master and this is the slave. So we can fire this up and see if our EEPROMs work. There's one more thing that we're going to have to do. This is how these link kits came from Midway back in the day. It was a set of 8 EEPROMs and 2 little PROMs. So you'd have your cabinet side by side doing what I just did. Replace these 4 and this PROM here. It's the, let me pull this out here. These are the old original ones here. It's the A-19993 PROM. That's just a little chip. To get this up and running, I'm going to have to find either that upgraded PROM or find some way of copying the PROM that I have. I'll do some more research on that. And that particular PROM goes right here, which this is the upgraded one right here, and then this is the old original one here. So let's go around front. We'll fire these up and verify that our new EEPROMs work. All right, so we'll flip these on here. This is the one that I've got the monitor mounted in, and this one I just have the monitor sitting there. We're looking for version 4.1, which we both are 4.1, and it says master machine, slave machine, and then we're up. It looks like it's working okay. You've got to make sure the coin options are set the same from machine to machine. So yeah, I can tell it's not communicating right now. It will say, I think after it finishes the screen here, it'll say head to head up over in the corner there. Let's see if it's doing that. There you go. So it says head to head, and that one does as well. I'll just, there's some credits on there. We'll fire this up. It should ask if you want a link, but it's not going to work without that PROM. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not talking to the other machine. So anyhow, stay tuned on this one. I'll find a source for our PROM. Thanks for joining us here at This Old Arcade. Alright, so we're here to finish up our video on our Cruis'ns link kit. The two machines we've already seen, I've got those finished. They're on a location. They've got nice flat screens in them. I borrowed this security PAL chip A-19993 from this machine. It's another pair of Cruis'ns that we have with regular CRTs. So far, we burned the software chips with our EEPROM burner. We've attached the parallel cable, which is a straight through parallel cable. It has to be a straight through. It can't be a null cable. And you have to have this security PAL. It will not work without this U38 security chip. The original kit came with 8 EEPROMs, 4 for each machine, and then it came with these 2 of these security PALs. So we're just going to pop this chip in and get this thing linked up here. You also have to have the dip switches set to slave and master. You have to have the same 4.1 software version, and you have to have the settings the same, the pricing, difficulty, and so forth. Make sure all my pins are in here. Okay, got the new chip in. We'll attach our parallel cable. It doesn't matter which connector it plugs into, it'll do the same thing. Okay, we're all set. Let's take a look around front, turn this on, and watch our link work. Alright, so we'll flip these on and see if our link is working. These old CRTs are pretty dim, but we'll be able to tell if it's working okay. Master machine, slave machine, 4.1 version. First thing you'll look for is to see if the screens kind of sync up, if they kind of start doing the same thing together. And see, this looks good there. Yep, then you go to the driving at the same time. That's a good sign. So if I press start here, it should say joining now. So we're linked, so we're working. I can join in and
choose your car.
so we're good. Now player 2, player 1. So, all right. If you're trying to link a couple of Cruis'ns together, you got to make sure you find that security PAL chip. I called all over the country looking for that chip and couldn't find it anywhere. And I finally had a local friend. We were looking through some of his old ICs and found the chip, so I got lucky. I talked to an old Midway software engineer, He said when he left the company, he didn't bring the file with him. But potentially those chips are, you can duplicate those chips if you've got the file. The original chips, I believe, aren't copyable, unfortunately. And somebody finds some way of duplicating that chip, I think it'll make a lot of Cruis'n owners very happy, people that want to link their Cruis'ns together. So, thank you for joining us for this old arcade. I'm Tim.